Most people spend months trying to create an online course, writing scripts, outlining the modules, designing slides. I don't. I let ChatGPT do 80% of the heavy lifting for me. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use ChatGPT to create an online course faster, easier, and better, but without losing the human creativity and expertise. And you want to make sure you stick around until the last point because I'm going to give you 4 hacks I use to get better output from ChatGPT. There are many different things you can do with ChatGPT to create your online course, from creating the marketing to creating the actual modules, the scripts, the outline, even creating some of the graphics for your online course. In this video, I'm mainly going to focus on creating the content for the course. So coming up with the actual, what you're going to teach inside of the course. So my first tip for you would be to take it piece by piece. Anytime you're using ChatGPT to try to create something that's really big, it can run into a lot of problems. And so you don't want to try to put in a prompt and generate like an entire course just from one prompt. Take it small piece by small piece. Maybe start with the title and then generate an outline for the entire course. Then start working on each lesson in each module individually. You'll get much better results overall by working in small pieces than you will trying to create the whole thing at once. Next, I want to talk about what to feed into ChatGPT, or the actual prompt you're going to give it. When you're prompting ChatGPT, you want to give it as much context as possible, and you want to give it as much information as you can about what you want it to do and how you want it to do it. So I've got 5 questions you can answer to create your prompt for ChatGPT to get a really good result for it to help you build your online course. Number 1, what is the outcome or transformation you're trying to get for your students? Number 2, who is your ideal customer? Number 3, where are they starting from? What's the beginning point that they're starting at and you're trying to get them to that end point? Number 4, how long is your online course? Is it just 1 module? Is it 10 lessons? Is it 5 modules and 100 lessons? Tell it how long you want that course to be. And number 5, what do you want to include or not include? So many times when you're creating an online course, and I would recommend this, you have a framework or a system that you might be working through, and there's going to be specific things that you're going to teach inside that framework or that you want to leave out. For instance, you might tell ChatGPT what softwares you want to recommend in the course or what apps you want to recommend. You might, if you're doing something in fitness, you might tell it that you don't want to talk about this diet, but you want to cover this diet. Those things are really helpful when you're creating your prompt. So let's jump over into ChatGPT and do a real-time example of how I would approach it and build a prompt for it to generate an outline for an online course using the framework we just talked about in the 5 questions. Now I'm using ChatGPT 5, which at the time of recording this is the newest version of ChatGPT. When it launched, there were some issues that people reported. Some people didn't like it. I was previously using 4.0 before this. I liked 4.0, but I have found 5 to be much better in my opinion. I think it's a lot faster and it's more consistent. And I find that I can have longer conversations and can reference older things, and I can continually get better results as the conversation gets longer. It just gets better and better. So I've really enjoyed what I've been able to get out of ChatGPT 5. Are you a parent who's wanting to start an online business, but you have no idea what to sell or how you would sell it? If that sounds like you, I want to invite you to go check out my Freedom Plan Generator. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes and asks you a set of questions, and then it uses AI to generate a full online business launch plan for you that simplifies it step by step based on my Freedom framework. It's a totally free tool. It takes just a few minutes to check out, and you can go over to plan.builtbyparents.com to give it a try. Back to the video. So I've started my prompt by saying, create an outline for an online course. Here's the information you'll need to build it. And what I did is I just pasted in those 5 questions that we talked about earlier, and we're going to answer those 5 questions. First question, what is the transformation or outcome you're trying to get your students? And what we're going to build here is we are going to build an outline for an online course that helps dads lose 10 to 15 pounds in 12 weeks. So we're going to type that out here and answer these questions. For question number 1, I'll just put help them lose 10 to 15 pounds in 12 weeks. Okay, for question number 2, who is your ideal customer? And again, the more context we give it, the better results we're going to get. So I'm probably not going as in depth as I normally would, and stick around because in the last part of this video, I am going to give you some additional hacks that I use to make this even better. But who is your ideal customer? We're going to say fathers, and they're typically going to be aged between, we'll say 30 and 55. Question number 3, where are they starting from? So we might give it some context on what their current situation is. So they are busy. They typically don't know the right foods to eat. They are not experienced with working out, and especially doing it consistently. And I'm just going to add, they are typically beginners when it comes to health and fitness. Okay, next, how long is your online course? Now, if you know approximately how long you want to make it, you can put that in here. If you don't, maybe just give it a general idea. Now, these are all things as well that you can work on with ChatGPT in advance of creating this outline. So some of these things you might be working through, like for instance, the first question, what is the transformation or outcome you're trying to get your students? Well, if you don't know that right off the bat, you can work with ChatGPT to find out some of the pain points of your specific customer and how you can solve them. You can work with ChatGPT to build your framework, your system. You can do all of those things, but I'm assuming that you kind of have that general idea. And so we want to put all this in to generate that outline. So when we ask how long is your online course, we can be somewhat general. I might just say 3 to 5 modules with, we'll say 3 to 5 lessons in each module. Short lessons, we'll say 3 to 8 minutes, something like that. Okay, the final question here, what do you want to include or not include? This is maybe the most important question, because I think if you have some kind of system, some kind of framework to get your students the result or the transformation, you're gonna wanna talk about that pretty in depth here. And you're also gonna wanna talk about, again, what you want to include and maybe what you don't wanna include. So in this situation where I'm creating an online course for dads who wanna lose 10 to 15 pounds, I might wanna talk about the types of workouts I wanna include and the types of food or diets that I want to recommend. So obviously I'm not actually creating this course, so I don't know that much. And if you were creating this course, you would be more of an expert than I am. But I might say stuff like, I want to cover the keto diet, leave out any other related or unrelated diets. I'm going to focus on weightlifting, so not much cardio. And we might say, I'm going to help them track their calories daily, get better sleep, and have more energy. So that's quite a bit of information, but I think what we're really missing here, and what I would recommend you put here, is if you have a step-by-step. So you might say, here's the 3 steps that I'm going to take them through, the 7 steps I'm going to take them through. If you do that, what I would recommend as someone who's sold a lot of online courses, I would recommend that your course follows your system, right? First thing you need to do, you need to audit your pantry. The second thing you need to do is you need to audit your time so you can build in workout time. The third thing you need to do is you need to audit your sleep and get better sleep. And then it's like 4th, 5th, 6th, you're implementing the plans, whatever that may look like, the steps that they need to go through. But I would recommend putting that here. But for this example, I'm just going to leave it at this, and we're going to see what it comes up with. So here's what we've got. Here's what ChatGPT came out with. So this is the outline. So Fit Dad Keto, lose 10 to 15 pounds in 12 weeks. So you can see here, it's given us the format, the goal, all this I think is good stuff. And then it maps out the modules for us because we ask it for that outline. So it even says what is the purpose of each module, and then kind of gives us the title of each lesson throughout, and it kind of builds that out for us. So this is already a really, really good start. And what I would recommend in kind of the next step of this process is I would take all of this and I would start going through it piece by piece, deleting and adding what you want, and then bring an updated version back into ChatGPT and then have it kind of edit or update it based on your notes. So that's something that I like to do, and we'll talk about in the next part a little bit, but I like to kind of make my own edits and changes it kind of separately in my own notepad, and then I bring those changes back in and kind of work with it piece by piece. The other thing you can do is you can take one of these lessons. So if we just took like lesson 1.2, the keto advantage for busy dads, put that in here and ask, what would you recommend I teach? Give me an outline for each lesson. Okay, finally, I'm gonna give you my 4 best tips to get better results out of ChatGPT and make this whole process a lot better. And these are 4 that I use all the time, not just for creating courses, but for anything I do in ChatGPT. Number 1 is create projects in ChatGPT. Now, along the left side toolbar, you'll actually have an option to create projects. Now, I'm not 100% sure that you'll have this in the free version, but you definitely have it in the plus version. You can create a project. So when you're working on a specific thing, like what we've done here, so busy dads, helping them lose 10 to 15 pounds, creating a course for that, we would want to create a project. And then inside that project, we can have all of our conversations around the different things that we're doing for that course. So we might have like a marketing conversation inside the project. We might have the course outline inside the project. We might have graphics inside that project, right? And so we're coming up with all the different assets and putting them in the project. What that does is it houses all the information inside one folder essentially. And so when we're asking it questions about the outline, it will be able to pull from the marketing and from the other conversations that we've already had, maybe the brainstorming for ideas that we had inside that project, and it will make your results way better. Tip number 2 is to keep things you love in a Google Doc or in some kind of notepad. So I like to use Google Docs specifically just because it's easy for me, but you can use anything. But what I mean by this is when you get something from ChatGPT that you really, really love, I just like to paste it in a separate document because I find that things easily get lost in my ChatGPT account. Now, I know what we just talked about is keeping things organized like in projects, but for me, there's sometimes I get a response from ChatGPT and it is so good that I don't want it to get lost in, that conversation or in my account. And so sometimes even in those projects, I have really, really long conversations. And specifically, even what we're talking about here with building an outline for the course, right? We could keep going back and forth with ChatGPT and create a really long conversation, and then a lot of things would get lost. So I like to take the things that I really like, paste them into a Google Doc, and sometimes make my own edits and things there, as I mentioned in the last lesson, and then paste them back into ChatGPT to keep working on them. My number 3 tip is don't be afraid to generate graphics for your courses in ChatGPT. And going along with that, what I would recommend again, try to create elements for your graphics. So you can create full graphics, right? Like thumbnails and marketing materials, social media stuff for your courses. But what I would recommend is like create the background, right? And then maybe take it over into Canva, take it over into Photoshop or something like that. Create an icon, those kind of things. It does a lot better if you create specific elements, but I would highly recommend that as you go through this process and you're creating your course and then you start wanting to brand it, you're going to create your slides, different things like that. Start creating the assets you might need, graphic assets with ChatGPT as well. It does pretty good. The last tip I'm going to give you is my absolute favorite tip, and it's surprising how many people don't do this, but this makes ChatGPT so much better. And it's right down here on the bottom of my screen. It's this microphone icon. Now you don't need like a microphone like this. It can use, the microphone on your computer or headphones, something like that. But this microphone icon is a game changer for me. Here's why. You're going to see 3 icons down here. The first one is if you wanted to like record your screen or something, that can be super useful. And the last one is if you actually want to talk to the voice agent in ChatGPT. So if you click on this, it actually changes over into like a voice mode and it's a conversational, you can listen to the audio and different things. This one right here is literally just voice dictation. So as I talk, it will change my words into my prompt. The reason I love this is because you can sit and talk for 5-10 minutes or more and just tell it everything you can possibly think of. So if I click on this microphone button, I can just talk. So I might say something back like this. Hey, ChatGPT, I love what you've got here, but I want to make some edits. I want this to follow my step-by-step system to actually get them the result in 12 weeks. So module number 1 is going to cover how to fix their schedule so they have the time to invest in their health. Module number 2 is going to teach them what workouts they need to do and how often they need to do them and how long their workouts need to be. Step 3 is going to be cleaning out their pantry, exactly what to get rid of and what to keep, and also some meals they can cook. Step number 4 is going to tell them exactly what to buy at the grocery store so that they have good tasting meals that are also low in calories. And step number 5 is going to teach them how to be consistent over the 12 weeks so they actually get the result. If you could restructure the course around those steps, that'd be super helpful. So I'll click the check mark, and it will just, it will change everything I said into text just like that. I'll submit it, and you can literally go, sometimes I'll go for 5-10 minutes. And so here you go. It says, got it. Here's a fully structured course outline that follows your exact 5 steps results driven system. So it changed everything here. Make time for your health. Boom. It's all about time. The workout plan, the pantry reset and simple meals, and then the grocery store game plan, and then the consistency piece. So just like that, right? It can follow a specific framework. And so you can give it as much context as you want and keep going back and forth until you get something you really love. I hope this was super helpful for you today. I'd love to know in the comments how you're using ChatGPT and if you've used it to create an online course or maybe another online business product. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button on this video, and we'll see you in the next one.